Hey, what's up guys? John here. Unemployment numbers are skyrocketing, and in tech, a whopping 10,000 people lost their job every single day in the month of July. Over 300,000 tech workers completely laid off. Take a look at this. Tech, great layoff. Over 30,000 tech employees lost their jobs in July. These are their stories. In their own words, tech layoffs. In fact, as of late July, more than 32,000 workers in the U.S. tech sector have been laid off in mass job cuts so far in 2022, according to the Crunchbase news tally. Tesla, as we all are familiar with, is talking about laying off about 10% of salaried staff, about 3.5% of their total workforce, and Amazon is shrinking staff by 100,000. Now, in context, they have about 1 million employees, so they're following step with a lot of other companies by about 10%, same as Tesla. So they're shrinking staff 10%, joining Netflix and Google in hiring slowdown. And Facebook is also moving in the direction of 10%, laying off 10% of salaried staff. Now, here's what I think is very likely to happen. I believe that over the last couple of years, many people were jumping from job to job just simply because the cost of living was increasing. People had the option to work from home. They were able to take advantage of everything that's happened in the last couple of years with remote work. Well, now what's ultimately going to be happening, I believe, is I think that a lot of recruiters, a lot of these big corporations, a lot of these companies are going to be looking at the loyalty of the employee, looking at how long this employee's been with this company, how many jobs they've had in the last 3 years, 2 years. And they're going to be looking at this closely. I know if I owned any of these companies, if I had an employee that was loyal, that showed up to work, that worked hard, that's been there for years before the last couple of years, all the mess that's happened, if they've been there with me, there's more of a likelihood that they're going to stay with me versus someone that just came 3 months ago or 5 months ago. Now, I believe this is going to continue to be widespread, and I think that this is only just going to be the beginning, because as they issue these layoffs, I believe they're going to really start leaning more into remote work, overseas remote work. Now, I've talked about this just recently in Sicily, in the south of Sicily. You can get a beautiful beachfront house for $100,000. Well, 1 block from the beach. To be on the beach, to have sand in your backyard, that's about $200,000, $250,000. Now, to live in Silicon Valley, if you look at what's happening right now, in Silicon Valley, office real estate is crashing, and there's a lot less demand for these luxury homes. Even Mark Zuckerberg sold his own home in Silicon Valley just a few weeks ago for $31 million. Now, why would they start hiring again in 6 months or a year and pay these high salaries that these local workers would demand when they can start offshoring talent? Now, if you were to live in Italy, for example, in Sicily, $100,000 house, the cost of living, if you wanted to go out to eat at 5-star restaurants every single day by yourself, would be maybe $30 or $35 if you had a glass of wine. That's how inexpensive it is. So for $3,000 to $4,000 a month, you could live as if you're making $30,000 or $40,000 a month here in, let's say, Silicon Valley. Now, what I think is going to happen is I think that they're not just obviously going to hire in Sicily. That's an example. But they are going to start looking at Pakistan. They're going to start looking at Bangladesh. They're going to be looking all over the world to start recruiting talent and hiring people based on lower cost of living. America's cost of living is only going to be increasing likely over the next 1 to 2 to 3 years. And employees are going to be looking at employers to fill the gap based on the cost of living. Now, I believe this is going to be a trend that's going to continue as interest rates rise and stocks continue to get punished. There's going to be less liquidity in these companies, in these organizations to put money out for hiring. And so because of that, they're going to be pulling back and looking at ways in which they can hire people at lower cost, reduce their expenses, and position themselves correctly for a recession. What do you think about this entire situation? This is a pretty unique scenario when you have all these numbers coming out in simply just the last 30 days. 30,000 tech jobs. 30,000 tech jobs. They go on to say, Insider spoke to employees from Tesla and Coinbase to hear their stories. these stories, like for example, earlier in this year, as cryptocurrencies crashed in one of the coldest dips in asset classes have experienced in years, the hot shot crypto exchange Coinbase laid off 20% of employees. The company went as far as rescinding job offers for new recruits. And of course, Tesla and Crunchbase. This is, I think, it's going to be very interesting to see how this whole thing kind of plays out over the next 2 years. But I do believe we're going to be walking into an environment where we're just going to see more and more and more people get laid off from their jobs. So we're going to see a lot of companies go under in also around that same time frame. A lot of tech companies, we were seeing, companies raising rounds of capital, raising money, just huge rounds, $100 million, $100 million rounds, and the companies are no longer profitable, or they were never profitable. They just had an idea, a vision, of a team behind them. All that funny money that was out there is getting sucked out of the market, and that money is no longer going to be available. At least if what we've experienced over the last 6 months is anything like what we're going to experience in the next 6 months, which I think is going to be more uncertainty and more problems inside of the tech space. A copywriter at Netflix shuttered fan site Tundum describes the layoffs as a now shuttered site. First, they found the manager's Slack has been deactivated. Then they noticed a call they had ignored. Others had described getting the bad news over the phone. When they called back, they received the news. 2 weeks pay, but their job was no more. It's unbelievable. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think that we're going to see more and more tech layoffs over the next 6 to 12 months? Do you think we're going to see a lot more pain in this economy? I think that the attention span, like for example, Netflix is issuing massive layoffs, but the attention span of everyday Americans is also changing with, thanks to TikTok and a lot of these short form content apps like Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, where people are just constantly scrolling to sit and watch a movie for 30 or a series for or an episode for 30 or 40 minutes and then watch a movie for an hour and a half. It's harder for people to do that. They'll turn the movie on, and then ultimately what's going to happen is they're going to have their phone in their hand, and they're going to be swiping. And if what they're swiping on is more interesting than what's on television, they're going to turn off the television and focus on the phone. This is also going to really change advertising. It's going to change everything, but Netflix is going to be in big trouble. I think we're walking into a really interesting change of relationship between employees and employers. Just in the past, employees had so much power, so much control. They were in such demand. Now what's happening is all that power is shifting back into the employer's hands, and I think it's going to be unique to see how this all unfolds. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop below, subscribe. You're also subscribed to my second channel. It's going to be an interactive call-in show coming up probably when I get back from Italy. Right now I'm in Florence, Italy. I'll probably be back in the next couple weeks, so when I get back, we will start then. But for now, I have daily live streams on Twitch, so if you want to join my daily live streams, they're completely free. You can click the link down below. Also on Discord, you can join there as well. And LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok up in the banner. But yeah, let's talk about this. This is wild. I think we're going to see a whole flat world get leveled right now. Before it was all the opportunity. Everything was in America. Everything was focused here. People moved from all over the world to get to America to have the land of opportunity, or so we were once told. Now what's happening is all of that opportunity is going all over the land, so all over the world. Everything is going to be a place to potentially hire, or a place to find great work, a place to live, and it's not going to be so much as a drawdown based on where you live. We're going to see huge opportunities. When I was traveling Italy, there were so many locations that were absolutely stunning, like the Amalfi Coast, for example. Beautiful, some of the most beautiful scenic atmospheres I've ever seen. Like, it's just stunning. It looked like something you would see in a movie, except better. The food was amazing, and luxury homes not far from the beach. 2-3 blocks from the beach, $400,000 or $500,000. It's still expensive. That's not cheap. It's still expensive. But granted, if that was in America, it would be $4 to $5 million, right? And so people are going to say, you know what? I'm making $200,000. I can go live there. I can have this beautiful house, beautiful food, great atmosphere. Just nice people. It's like the basket of everything, right? And so people are going to start looking at this. It's going to change the world. It's going to change everything. It's awesome. It's incredible, because there's going to be This is going to be more of like a survival of the fittest in the tech sector, where people are going to no longer, just because you're located in a certain area, you're going to have to be located in a certain area, be easy to work with, be smart, be creative, be reliable. You're going to need all these things to have these great jobs. When before, it just wasn't that way. You just simply applied and people were fighting to give you the job. Drop a comment below. Let's talk about it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you're interested in being sponsored on my YouTube channel, visit cashnow.video/sponsor and fill out the application.